This is the moment when the supposedly dead killer comes back to life for one last scare.
Welcome to The Last Scare. I'm Jayla here with Cam, Blake, and Sabrina, and today we're talking about Megan.
Mithrigan,
which I was so, I was already excited to see this movie, but I was so pleasantly surprised by this. I don't know how you guys feel, but I'm really excited to talk about it.
Oh, I know. I knew I'd like it, but not as much as I thought I would. I loved it. I was just I just had a great time. I was like, this is great.
It's way smarter than I expected it to be.
Really funny.
I struggle calling it a horror movie because it really just doesn't play like a horror movie. Certain aspects to it, but overall it's just kind of like a Blumhouse movie.
Yeah.
To be more specific with it.
It's a Blum comedy.
It is, yes.
Mm-hmm. That's a comedy, all right?
Oh my gosh. It was cracking up.
I kept texting Blake. I was like, this movie's a comedy, not a horror movie. I don't care.
Halfway through, just seeing some of the things the main character does and the situations that Megan's put in, my friend turned to me. He's like, Megan's kind of based in this movie. There's not.
She really is. I kind of agree.
She doesn't really do anything wrong for most of the movie.
She's really an icon. Oh my god.
Really, there's only one person that I'm like, they didn't deserve to die.
That's what I said.
There's only one person that's like, they could have lived. The rest of them, but let's get into that. Let's get into Megan.
So it started out they shot it as an R-rated movie. How do you guys feel about it being kind of edited down to a PG-13?
I mean, I don't hate it. I gotta be honest with you. I kind of, for that, something like that I wouldn't expect to be fully rated R. I don't know why. I just feel like something like that they want to, apply to more audiences that aren't, that can see that. So, I don't know. It gave such PG-13 vibes that I was like, the fact that it was even considered a rated R is, crazy to me. I don't know.
I think it worked being PG-13. Yeah. I mean, PG-13 horror movies get such a bad rap, but this one, I think, works in, like Sabrina said, to her point, that it can bring in a wider audience, which I think it's trying to do, set up a franchise and everything. And, I mean, if an uncensored version is on the way and they put that on the Blu-ray, then we lose nothing. Just watch the Blu-ray if you want more blood and release your PG-13 versions, which also works.
I think for the most part they pushed that PG-13 rating to the farthest.
Yeah, it didn't seem like a watered down version of an R-rated movie. It seemed like a PG-13 movie, and I think that's why it worked. They did it in a smart way.
I agree. I think it worked because in both times we saw it, the audience was packed with a lot of teenagers, a lot of young people.
Yeah.
I think the genre isn't just for us in our mid-20s.
Oh, God, stop. No, I felt, but movies like that, they always want to go for that PG-13 rating so they can bring in teens and everything, in a wider audience. Because if it's just rated R, you're gonna have kids sneaking in and everything. And I'm not saying it's gonna hurt it, but I don't know, that's gonna be a movie that kids in high school, middle school want to go see with their friends and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there is a kid next to me that looked shocked. That was a bit scarred, and I hope that this means the beginning for a love of horror in the genre. But
if he was scarred by that, not ready for it.
We all gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, I'd be give it time before we move on to the Conjurings and the
you want to be scarred for life? Watch Terrifier. That will scar you for life.
Yeah,
for sure. But we start out with Megan, with our lead, Katie. Our lead, Katie, we start off with the commercial, actually. The Perpetual Pet commercial, which is very accurate to commercials that I see, commercials I grew up with, as far as like toy commercials.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. For like a split second, I was like, "Is this the right movie that I'm in?" But it sounds like weird, but it kind of gave me a I'm probably the only person who feels it, but like a Nope vibe. How they started off with something that's like, how does this have to do with the movie? And then like you slowly are like, okay. So I think like that's very clever once it like makes sense. But when you open a movie to like a commercial or something, you're like I remember even when I watched Nope, I was like, I saw like the beginning and I was like, is this the same movie? Like, is this the right movie? Because like I didn't even expect that. But I think it kind of I don't know, if it works, it works.
I'm pretty sure it's the same exact opening as the Child's Play remake. Like a
Yeah.
commercial on
Oh my
TV
God, yeah.
advertising.
I
Yeah, we
thought
talked
that
about that.
so many times. To me, this is what the Child's Play remake should have been.
Oh, I said to Sabrina the other night that the Child's Play remake crawled so Megan could fly. It's just far superior than
See,
that
like, I don't
movie.
even say that because, like, Megan literally crawled in the movie, so, like...
So it goes from that to Katie and her parents driving through the snowy mountains, and they get in a wreck and they die.
I didn't get that they died right away.
But really, it starts out the movie on a very funny note because the banter between the parents when they're driving is really funny because the mom is like, see, we should have gotten chains on the tires. And the dad's like, yeah, we didn't know that was a thing till like 10 minutes ago.
And they were also like, how do we know, how long is it going to be before a snowplow comes along? And that's what kills them. There's a lot of subtle and dry humor in this, especially. We saw it twice. There's a lot of dry humor I picked up on the second viewing.
In the beginning, I was like, I gotta be honest with you, I was just like, oh, jeez. The entire time, I wasn't even like, anything they were saying, I was like, of course they're fighting, and then, like, they die, and I was like, oh.
The first time I watched it, it was like that, but the second time, I picked up on a lot of the, like, dark humor notes.
Oh my God.
It really set the tone from those first two scenes, the commercial and...
Oh God, you're gonna make me want to rewatch it now, because I'm gonna be like, what are you talking about?
It was really good the second time. It actually really held up. It was still really funny. I caught a couple jokes that I didn't even catch the first time. Like there's some nuance in the humor. There's very subtle jokes.
There's a message too about like technology and how attached children can get to technology.
Because they were asking about screen time and stuff like that, and I was just like, oh my God, it's such a kid in like modern day time type thing. Well, I was like, why are you worried about screen time when you guys are arguing? Like, they're like, oh, get off your iPad. Like, I was like, oh no. It's like already like, ugh, these kids nowadays. But that's how, when you say that internally, that's how you know you're older. And it's like, oh, okay, I don't need that. I don't need that reality check in the moment.
Yeah, kids don't ask for action figures anymore. They want this realistic AI to be a genuine companion to you. Which I'm glad they explicitly said in the movie is very unhealthy. That kids need to associate with other kids when they're growing up.
You're gonna be so disappointed in me, Blake, because by the end of this movie, I really wanted a Megan.
But also,
someone to protect you the way she did, icon. I want that.
Oh yeah, I want a Megan. I want a Megan to protect me. But also, I think it worked out for Gemma too. Or not worked out, but I think she wanted it for her own reasons because basically she was not equipped to be raising this kid. I think it's noble that she was still very welcoming toward Katie, toward bringing her in and accepting her in the first place. And I feel like throughout the movie, she really tries.
Yeah.
Like they kind of show that maybe she seems kind of like nagging at first, but really she's got good intentions. But also, she's clearly using Megan to like raise Katie and babysit her and teach her and just do all the stuff that she is not equipped to do.
Yeah, I don't think she realized it till halfway through when like Katie would freak out whenever like Megan wasn't around. She was like, oh, like she like they sworn like their connection was like so like immediate that like immediately like she started to realize like slowly like okay like that attachment was already like unbreakable and You know, like her using that, it was like at first she was like, okay, you know, it's helping. Now it's like, and they got to the point where like they couldn't separate the two. And she was like, oh my god. It's like then she
That
started to realize what she
codependency.
did. But she realized that, like, you know, that it wasn't entirely a good idea to use Megan to like help take care of, like, you know, Katie, and should have like actually tried to be the, like I said, she did best she could, but you know, it's like, all right, when you don't think about it, you think it's helping, and then halfway through when they got attached and she's like, I'm trying to talk to you, and she's like, oh my god, what did I do?
It's like Cam said, she takes her in and genuinely does try. She just doesn't know how to do it.
Yeah, and then
She's never had to before.
Like mostly, and then the rest of the movie is mostly just like her slowly realizing that's like probably like the biggest mistake she could have done.
She's from the jump. She's kind of suspicious. She's kind of too smart.
Yeah. So when they're doing that test on the Megan before Gemma and Katie even meet, before Megan is even Megan, the model they're showing David that blows up, they tell her to look confused, and she smirks, and you think, you know, maybe it was an error because of the polypropylene barrier or whatever he didn't put in. But also, I think they were already hinting at Megan being a little too smart, a little too cunning.
A little too evil. a little too unsettling. A little too unsettling.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, Gemma literally said she looked demented, so...
Yeah, she did.
She was like, she looks demented, not confused. But yeah, she does, because you created a monster. This is why we shouldn't trust AI.
Yeah. Like I said, you know, like when she's like in action, you know, talking to people, I'm like, okay, she's about me. But she was just like sitting and looking. I'm like, okay, I feel very unsettled, like every time.
The last thing you need to give an AI that you create is access to information, because they learn about our history and immediately go, you guys are fucked up. What did Ultron do? He scanned the internet and was like, humans need to die. Like, I'm gonna start
Every
now.
single AI does that. He's not even kidding. Like, it's been seen time and time again. They're like,
but it's that same thing, like you creating something to stop something and it just ends up backfiring and then like destroying you. That's literally the plot of Terminator. Literally the plot. Like, have we not learned? Have we not
They
learned?
learn about human history and they're like, here's a problem. I know the solution. You're not gonna like it, but here's the solution.
The solution's never something we like. It's
one of those, it's like the same thing when you're watching like a Jurassic Park movie. It's like, okay, we already know how this is gonna end. It's the same thing with whenever it's like a robot or something along those lines. You're like, okay, we know how it's gonna end, but we're still gonna come back for more just to see how it happens.
This is a well-paced movie.
Yeah, I don't think anything about it was like slow. I just was like,
yeah, nothing really dragged.
Yeah, it's a tight script.
Mm-hmm.
Tight script.
Or tight. I don't know.
No, it's a tight script.
No, I love the way you said it.
Maybe the script was like 3 hours long and they just did their best to think.
I will say, although the edit's done really, really well, the second time watching it, I'm like, oh yeah, no, there's a gorier cut of this that exists.
Yeah, they cut away from a lot of stuff, and you can see there's a scene early on when David says something about kicking Hasbro in the dick, and it kind of looks like he does like an F with his mouth, like the original line was kick Hasbro in the fucking dick, and the way it cuts is like a little weird, like it's edited out.
Let them say fuck.
To that point, there were a few scenes where they said something and I was like, the ADR on that one specific line sounded so much different compared to the rest of like this scene, and I'm like, they're dubbing over things.
See, I don't think I noticed that.
I think if you don't tell someone, it's really easy to miss, but knowing and like looking for it, you can tell, which is really rare for this kind of thing. Like and a PG-13 cut that works out. But I'm very interested in this unrated cut.
It didn't take away from the movie. I'm getting a little ahead of it.
Exactly.
But the presentation where she does her dance and has the little weapon finally, I was like, if James Wan produced this, the man that gave us the police station scene in Malignant, everyone in this presentation is done. I actually didn't know the movie was PG-13, so she only gets like 2 people in that scene, but I feel like if they actually filmed more people upstairs, I don't know. I feel like it could have a higher body count if they really cut a lot out. But
I mean, it was a pretty high body count.
I mean, was it though? She didn't really kill. She killed a dog.
From my memory, it's 5, including the dog.
Oh,
this is a personal thing, and I was praying. I like hate watching dogs like die in movies.
I do too. I'm like, that
I
dog's
full
gone.
on cannot like watch. I will like detach myself from the movie if I watch a dog die. Like anytime
I'm glad they didn't show it.
Yeah, if they show it, I can't watch it. So I was like, please don't show it or something, because I was like, I will literally shut this movie off right now. Thank God.
It was the worst part of my Halloween rewatch, realizing how often Michael doesn't kill but eats dogs was really upsetting in retrospect.
Yeah, we're not rewatching that then. Nope.
You don't really pick up on it when you watch movies individually, but when you watch all of them, you're just like, oh, he eats them regularly.
Corey wasn't true evil. He didn't eat any dogs.
She's like,
so when Megan is first introduced, the assistant, I guess Cole and Tess are like Gemma's assistants. Basically, they seem like they're probably beneath her, and she's the mastermind. But Tess is saying the way Megan's behaving and the way Katie is acting with her, she's acting like a replacement for her parents, and that's not good. That's not healthy. She's calling that out from the beginning.
Yeah, shout out to Tess. Tess was like really on top of things. She was like, this is kind of messed up. And Gemma was like, nah, it's fine.
Yeah, she literally was like, no, it's fine. They're fine. Like, and then like when she couldn't have a conversation with her, she's like, oh, I fucked up. Like,
Tess was really the I guess the audience character, because she was like, you haven't even processed your sister dying yet. And Gemma was like, no, I'm fine. It's cool. Don't even worry about
Let's
it.
make this robot for my niece to help raise her, because I can't.
Yeah, and like, you know, a lot of people lean on technology more than they should, even when it's an inconvenience. Like when she was trying to read Katie a story, but she had to update the app.
Oh my God, yeah. I was like, oh, like, but that's like how modern day is with people who have kids now, which is like crazy.
Yeah. Nobody has books anymore.
I love Blade so much.
Already at this point, I was kind of against Gemma, just all the things she was doing, and at this point is when Megan kind of started to see that too. Because anytime Gemma would be like, okay, here's a lesson I can give you, or a bit of information, Megan says it and gives her that like side eye where I'm like, she's like,
I got this.
Yeah, you're making this so much worse. I think Megan immediately knew her role, and it was above Gemma in the Guardian spot, and even at a certain point kind of saw what we, the audience, saw. Like, you can't protect Katie. I'm the one doing that. So every time you try, Megan's just like, stop, I got this.
Like, not, and like, again, I know we're probably gonna get ahead of ourselves, but that's literally what she says at the end. She's like, you were unequipped. She's like, I'll be your mom. Like, she's like, she looks to me as a mother figure. And it's like, because you threw that at her to help her grieve, she immediately attached herself to her, and like, they couldn't be apart at that point.
Yeah, she really just kind of like skipped the whole processing trauma bit and was kind of a workaholic. Gemma was a bit of a workaholic and was just kind of like, yeah, I don't have time for this very serious thing.
And yeah, because she was so caught up in her work, which I get, she literally was like, okay, here's Megan, you take care of Katie. And then when she was like, all right, now I'm going to try to, form a relationship with her, it was too late, because the two of them were already so attached. She didn't care about anybody else.
Right. After that, what are we on?
Oh, the dog part now.
Yeah, the dog.
Dog?
Yeah, the dog.
Her, Megan's first kill.
Yeah, the dog.
Dog.
The dog.
I know, it's how I say it, my gosh.
Dog?
It's the New York in me.
Cockies?
Doggy. It's the dog.
I love your accent. Don't worry about it.
I don't even see, like, it's so funny. Never knew I had a full accent until like me and Blake met, and like we went into like a full, like, half an hour conversation.
It was me explaining to you that everybody has an accent.
Yeah, and I was like, okay.
By the way, she fixed Megan in one night after she exploded. And now we're at the presentation.
Yeah, not a lot of time spent on making the best Megan since the last one we saw, which wasn't very good.
One night. She did it overnight.
I was like, oh, she's just ready. She was like, if Tony Stark could do it in a cave, shit, I could do it in a night.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
Megan showed up that next morning.
She's like, here you go. Here's your new friend. She's
Yeah.
like,
I was like, I don't take this movie seriously. Sure. Do it in a night. Sure.
sure, build a robot AI that could do like anything in like, all in the day.
Puppies being puppies. I'm about to kick her out.
Can you? We need a Megan to babysit the puppy.
We need a Megan to babysit. Well, she's not good with dogs.
Well, she wasn't paired with Dewey. So they're getting Megan ready for the presentation, the big reveal to the shareholders, investors, or whatever. That was so funny. Like, she just does this perfect, like, hyper realistic oil painting of Katie.
Yeah, a surprise one because she had to knock over the water to see it. And there's this woman that's like over dramatically crying over
I'm a very. There's times where I'll literally Blake will watch a movie and he's like, Sabrina's gonna cry at this. I cry over everything, by the way. So it's not very telling. I was like, all right, this is gonna get me. So, and it did, as always. There's no surprise
It was a
there.
touching scene.
Yeah, I was like, why am I crying over horror? I was like, it's supposed to be a horror movie. Why am I crying?
So later on, she's watching Katie play, and she's clearly just like taking in a lot of information. And she goes to get the arrow for Katie, and this is when she encounters Dewey, and Dewey nearly mauled. I guess he couldn't have mauled Megan to death because she is titanium. But then he gets a hold of Katie's arm, and that's when Megan finally meets Celia and gives her that look that just.
Oh yeah, that's what I was trying to talk about before. So apparently,
Yeah, I'm surprised that hasn't been memed to death.
That scene when she's like, her hair's all messed up. Blake sent me the picture. It's so memeable that I was like, oh my god. I was like, I think I know what he's talking about. And I sent him the picture. He's like, yeah.
Do you think like the bite from the dog is what turned Megan to go full evil or not?
Ooh.
Because you see a little spark and you see her eyes change. Was that like the true turn?
See, I don't know, because the logical in me is like, whenever you build a robot, even if nothing's wrong with them, they'll end up going evil anyway. So
I think she genuinely learns through evolution. Like, she sees an attack, a physical attack, and says, oh, the solution to this must be a bigger physical attack, meaning I'm not going to bite the dog's arm, I'm going to kill the dog. And that's how she handles physical threats from then on out. The kid hurts Katie, and she's like, dead, I'll kill you.
well, I see, like, that's actually a good point, because I didn't entirely think about it that way, but that might be a better point. But I just was like, okay, she was sworn to protect Katie, and she's like, okay, Katie's in danger, person dies.
And she realizes that's the solution. The problem never happens again if that problem goes away forever. So that's why she's like, if you don't cooperate, I will kill you. And then I'll still get what I want.
She's like, I do not care.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't think anyone in that movie deserved to die except for the kid. I fucking hate that kid. Nobody else needed to die. The neighbor's not that bad, and it's not the dog's fault. They were on their property, like reaching through the fence. Like, the dog shouldn't have bit them, of course, but it was on their property. That's why the cop was like, there's not really much we can do. You were on their side, so.
That cop, the reoccurring cop was a joy.
Mustache.
I love that you said oblivious detective, because I thought he was joking. I was like, oh no, he's just stupid.
I shouldn't be laughing.
I wrote him down in my own notes as a detached Colin Farrell.
Jesus. Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, no. She's like, do you think there's a connection? And he's like, I don't know. I didn't even think of that. Kid died. Oh, shouldn't laugh. Anyway.
And we never see him again, so he really thought nothing of it.
But that kid was atrocious, man. Oh my god. And his ear, I'm just saying it should have been worse.
I think getting his ear ripped off and hit by a car was enough, though.
So she got Dewey and killed him, and then that's when we cut to the scene where it was Kurt stealing the documents of Megan and like being a little sneaky snake.
See, I thought there's gonna be more to that.
I'm glad that didn't really go anywhere. I was like, do we really need a subplot of them trying to steal the ideas For Megan, like in a sequel, I get it. Like once Megan goes public, like she's a big thing or whatever, I see people wanting to steal it. But I don't know. It was so random that the intern was already stealing files, and I was like, how far is this gonna go?
The only thing they did with that was Megan's little bit when she kills him, saying, you feel like everyone treats you bad, and so you're stealing secrets from the business. And literally, that's just her justification to kill him or something.
Yeah. I don't know if there was a larger story arc that was cut out.
I feel like it was, in that line that she had with him might have been a last minute reshoot or addition, just to be like, well, we can't really cut that completely because of whatever reason, so it's just one scene and then mention it, and then we're done with it because we kill him.
We already know there's a longer cut that's existing somewhere out there, so it wouldn't surprise me if there was a larger story arc involving Kurt.
The Kurt cut.
The Kurt cut. I'm demanding the Kurt cut. But after that, it was when Katie started lashing out and we started going deeper into the idea of her being too attached to Megan.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was like. Oh my god! Like she literally was like not just like attention. Like she was like psychotic.
It was actually damaging to her psyche at that point.
Like it was like I didn't expect it to be that bad.
That's why when she hit Gemma, I'm glad Gemma wasn't like they didn't rag on Katie for that, because I'm like, nah, that's not her fault. You've really this girl lost her parents and not a single person has been there for her. Like this girl needs help.
Yeah, but it's not an excuse to hit somebody across the face.
I'm not saying it's an excuse to hit somebody. I'm saying you need to solve this
especially
without
not
a punishment.
getting what you want. Like I don't know, it was giving spoiled brat child, but I get what you're saying. Like, it's not her fault, but it was just like she was acting like a spoiled brat because
it was the opportunity for Gemma to be like, no more Megan at all, and that is what she did. She's like, we're going home. I'm gonna be with you now, and I'm like, yes, that was the appropriate move after this.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like right before the first hint that maybe Megan is a bit too much was this whole montage of Megan and Katie and how Megan was basically being a parent.
And so she decides to put her in this sort of alternative, outdoorsy kind of school. I don't know if that's what a Montessori school is like, but I know that Montessori schools are like, put the kids out to like play and learn on their own terms. I don't know.
Rub some dirt in it, or I don't know.
No, that's actually like kind of basically what it is. Yeah.
So they take her to some kind of, I don't know if it's a Montessori school, but that's where we meet.
Activity school. Let's just call it that.
She goes to activity school.
Yeah, there you go. Because it was literally just to get to know kids her own age. Because it wasn't her going to public school. It was just.
It was helpful. Like it was necessary.
Yeah, it was basically an exercise to see if she can get along with kids her own age.
Like her mom didn't have her in school either, so she really didn't have any friends her own age.
She didn't want the responsibility of having to, teach her from home. So she's like, you need to be around kids your own age, which is like actually valid, but at the same time, it's like it's hard for a kid to go their entire life being homeschooled to then just be.
I think there are more cons to pros when it comes to homeschool.
Gemma means well, but she had a lot of band-aid fixes until the end. She was really just trying to just cover up all of the leaks at one time instead of actually facing the issue.
Yeah.
She meant well. Like I said, she meant well because she gave her a roof over her head. She didn't want her to be on her own, but she wasn't. She said it herself. She wasn't equipped, to handle this. But she didn't want to not to the point where she's like, oh my god, I can't do this. She didn't want to give her up because it's her niece and what her sister would have wanted. So obviously she tried the best she could, and but she didn't think that giving Katie a friend would be damaging in the end. When she's like, all right, you have someone to play with and someone to check on you, and I can leave you alone with them while I do my work.
And unfortunately, we learned that not everyone that's Katie's age is a nice person.
Oh my god. Yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I was when there's I don't know if it was a stepmom, the mom, whatever, was talking about him. She's like, "Oh, do you need this?" He's like, "Fuck off." And I was like,
it was the straight up mom.
Holly.
That was one of the best uses of the
Of a PG-13 F-bomb, yeah.
PG-13 F word, because they only get 1 or 2, and so I'm a fan of when they actually get a really good, like, forceful F word in a PG-13 movie when they do it really well.
Our theater really reacted to it, too.
It's so funny.
It was genuinely
I actually
funny.
love that when it's like when you get one F-bomb in a PG-13, but it's like used so like iconically.
What was funniest for me was her follow-up joke where she was like, well, yeah, they said that behavioral issues are linked to high IQ.
I was like, oh yeah, and then she's like raising kids is so much fun.
Like, he's a little sociopath. She's like, no, it's fine. She was really trying to compensate for her kid being a dick, unfortunately. And you know what happens in a horror movie. If you're an asshole, you're going to get punished.
So funny. She, like, rips this kid's ear off, does her little crawl thing.
Oh, God, that was, like, unsettling. Her little, like...
Chases him into the street.
Yeah.
He gets hit by a car, and you're like, did that really happen? And then you just see, like, his shoe, like, it's from a distance, but if you're looking, you just see his shoe on the road.
That was a nice touch.
And then I was like, did they really go there? Did they really go there? And then they're zipping up the body bag. I laughed my ass off.
It was a dead silent theater, and the second time we watched it, we were both, like, cackling.
Like, I think the thing that, like, was weird, it was just, like, the ear, when it got ripped off, looked so rubbery. I was like, oh my god.
That's one of the bits that I'm like, I know there's a gorier edit, and that's really
like,
rough.
not that it wasn't gory, it's just, like, when it was, like, pulling the ear, it just looked like a rubber ear, and I was like...
It stretched a bit too far.
Yeah. I don't know why it invoked Willy Wonka in me, seeing his ears stretched like that.
Oh, doesn't Willy Wonka, like, pull Charlie's ears really aggressively?
Oh my god, he does!
He's, like, really mean. Like, Willy Wonka's really fucking mean.
It's a horror movie!
He's, like, pulling his ears and stuff and, like, slapping him
Willy
around.
Wonka's just a psychopath.
After that, we have Mustache Cop return, and...
our hero.
And she's like, oh, is this about the kid that died? And he's like, no, your neighbor's wondering about her dog again. And then she says this line that's so funny. She's like, if you look in that lady's house, that dog is probably dead under a pile of Victorian baby strollers.
But it's just, like, out of pocket in the moment, because you're like, why would you say that?
Yeah, the writer cooked.
They cooked.
He cooked?
But then after that, Megan is realizing that Celia, the neighbor, is a menace. And so she's reassuring Katie that she's always going to take care of her. And she sings Titanium, and it's genuinely beautiful.
It is. It's angelic.
It's angelic, but it's just so, like...
It sold me on, like, having a Megan.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I want a Megan to sing to me every night.
Megan's like, dog bit you, gone. Karen next door, gone. I was like, I'm Team Megan. I don't care. Dickhead kid, gone.
We are all Team Megan here at the last scare. I think it's easy to say.
Yes, I was like, literally just the entire time I was like, my icon. My queen. Like, I knew she'd be an icon the second I saw that dance. I was like, she's gonna be that icon. And
we
she
need
was.
shirts that say Team Megan at the last scare with her doing the dance.
Ah! I need that. The dance was so much better on screen, by the way. I just wanted to say that, like, really quick. Because I was like, all right. Like, we saw the trailer, but it's just, in context, it was just so much better. Because he's like, what are you doing?
And that was a real child. That was a real child in a mask
I
that
love
they
that.
had.
I can kind of tell when they swap them out.
I couldn't. Could you?
No, I didn't really know.
I wasn't really paying attention to that, no.
I probably could if I really tried, but... So then she kills Celia, and when she's spraying her down with all the garden chemicals, we see a shot of them sort of running into the drain, and it really evokes the idea of, like, blood.
Yeah.
Like, it's
I thought it was
dark,
blood.
It's a very dark
I did too!
lane.
I was like, wait.
I've seen what a pressure washer can do to human skin, and it's not pretty.
Really?
Yeah, no, it can actually seriously mess you up. Like, it can, like, deglove you.
From a movie or from real life?
Like, in real life, it can mess you up. That's why the first time I saw it, I was like, that's blood, because it's a pressure washer.
I'm thinking in the unrated cut, that scene is going to be probably more gory somehow. I think that might end up being, like, blood in the R-rated version.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't even. That scene was so dark, you couldn't really tell.
Yeah, walking out. I guess it just depends on your perspective. Because walking out, it was blood to me.
Well, again, it was just like it could have been, but I don't know. Like I usually don't like be like, oh my god, the scene's so dark because like I usually can see, but like for that, I kept like leaning in. I was like, I don't really know. Like I assumed it was blood, but like it was just so dark to tell. I honestly didn't entirely know what was going on until like it was like half over. I was like, oh, like obviously I knew she was getting killed, but I was like, what is she using?
For sure, it's a psycho thing. It's why it's PG-13. It's a yeah.
So then Mustache Cop shows up one last time with the detective cop, who's like a detached Colin Farrell, just sort of like oblivious, not even making obvious connections, just very... He's not actually Colin Farrell. I just think he looks like Colin Farrell.
Yes.
He's just not suspicious when he should be obviously suspicious as
Right.
a detective. He's just really bad at his job.
His moment where he's like, I shouldn't laugh, but he was very deadpan, and I remember his character even though he was only in it for like 3 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, I want more of him in the next one.
Just as oblivious every single time. Like Gemma's around some murder next time, and he's like, Gemma, how the hell have you been?
This is really wacky, isn't it?
He probably won't even recognize her. So Gemma starts getting concerned, and she shuts Megan down. And Katie really starts lashing out.
Oh, is this when she's like says it sucks shit and like kicked Gemma's car?
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, the acting from the girl that plays Katie is really good. Like,
yeah.
I think that, I mean, she's got to be like 10 or something, but she is really a stellar actor.
She was so great. She was so great at like. I feel like she had a lot of pent up rage. She was able just to get out during this movie.
Yeah.
And that's why she's so chill in interviews.
Her emotion looked really genuine.
Yeah, no, I was impressed because it's so hard with child actors to, you know, kind of wrangle them in. It's not their fault. They're kids, you know, but it's always really impressive to see a good child actor.
She definitely, like, scared me a lot. And I was like, I don't like children like that. But I was like, damn, okay. No, she was great, but I was just like, again, it's like, I will never let my child act like... Listen, it was valid for her situation and everything that she went through, but I'm just saying.
Our theater got so quiet. Like, we're from Texas, so they were very just like, beat her ass.
Yeah,
Jeez.
Listen, I don't like believe in like beating children and stuff like that, but like...
They were like, beat her. And I was like, oh no.
Yeah, people around here are like, get the belt.
Oh my god!
That was the energy in the room to a T. I was like, this child's traumatized. She's an orphan. Can we all calm down?
Yeah.
It's really bad timing for her to be shutting Megan down because it's the night of the big presentation where they're like showing her off to the world. And then you have Ronnie Chang's character being like, Megan's good for even kids who don't have dead parents.
Yeah.
That was so bad.
So
I was like,
great.
Like, it was such a cute moment. She's like, oh, Megan helps me. And then he's like, yeah. He's like, even for kids with dead parents. I was like...
I found it kind of eerie. You know, it was funny, but like how they were like...
He was the one driving the snowplow.
Yeah, how they were talking about Megan. And like, they recreated this family picture with Megan. And... it was kind of like, it was funny, but also eerie to me to think about, like, this is, like, technology gone too far. This is, like, she's being replaced. Like, she's being a parent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, basically, like, if you don't want to deal with your kids' emotions, get a Megan.
So this is where we have Cole and Tess are still trying to work out Megan's kinks. And, you know, she wakes up and escapes from them and tries to kill Cole. Which, like, not to be the physics guy, but actually, she's like holding him up. She's got him on like the pulley system, basically choking him out. She still weighs less than him, so she wouldn't actually be able to like pull him down. I'm sorry. I'm totally cutting that. That's such a nitpick.
No. You have to keep it. You have to keep your physics nerd.
No, it's true. But, like, I that just tells everybody, like, how strong Megan must be then, because, like, people
she has a hell of a grip.
Yeah, I mean, something like the kid earlier, like, threw around, like, literal, like, ragdoll that she is, and then, like, she could literally just, like, choke somebody. And I'm like, okay.
This is something we both picked up earlier on in the movie. However, when, like, the call is coming in from Gemma to Tess, and it's really Megan talking to Gemma, if you see at the top of her phone is the, what was it, Elsie? Is their version of the AI or whatever. Elsie is connected. So Megan is, like, uploaded to Elsie for over half of this movie.
Oh yeah, she was already infected. Elsie was already infected with Megan, like, early on. Gemma's working and Elsie asks if she wants, like,
a playlist
or something, and she's like, you don't know how to do that, and then suddenly Megan's there.
Yeah, or when Megan was like, stop, and all the lights are turning off and on. I'm assuming Elsie is like an Alexa that has control over the lights.
Oh yeah,
so
that must have been. I didn't think of it like that. Yeah, that makes sense.
I was thinking as soon as she walked in and saw her is when she was like connected.
Yeah.
So as soon as she was like, stop, in the very beginning was my first.
But also she can just do that kind of stuff to, like, basically any technology, it seems, because after she sets off the little chemical fire to escape Cole and Tess, she's going down the hall and there's all these alarms, and she just, like, waves, and when she passes them and it turns them off. So really she can
that was so
she can
cool.
hack into anything.
That's her girl boss superpower.
That was crazy.
That was her girl boss moment, because that's where she does her little dance.
Yeah, she like turns off all the alarms and she has her little moment. I loved that dance.
They knew it was gold, and they're like, that's our marketing. Right there is that dance.
Yeah.
And, like, when we first saw that in the trailer, I was like, this is going to be so bad. But then I saw the movie, and I saw it within the context. I'm like, this is so good!
Yeah.
This is so amazing!
Honestly, see, like, I don't know if it's just me being easily entertained, but, like, if it probably wasn't for that dance, I'd be like, yeah, looks good, whatever. But I was like, no, I need to see this. I need to see why she's dancing like that. It was that campiness that, like, was perfect.
I love camp, and I love camp that knows what it's doing, and Megan...
You have to earn the camp.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Just an icon. Just love her.
We got a double kill coming up, don't we?
Yeah, this is where she grabs the paper cutter, which basically detached, just looks like a big machete. So earlier, right before the presentation, when Kurt is talking about wanting more little kids in the audience, David is jiggling like a clearly empty water bottle, trying to get some water, and he's just hamming it up. He's like, I want you to go downstairs and get me a kombucha. So this is really funny, because later on, when she gets the paper cutter and she goes and kills David, then the elevator opens up, and it's so subtle. Kurt drops like a bottle of red liquid, and it's the kombucha.
He had the kombucha.
I thought that was really funny.
It was leading up to his death, and like it kind of really tied up the only like hanging thread of the movie, because earlier we saw, like I mentioned earlier, we saw Kurt uploading all of Megan's secrets, and he killed Kurt.
When Gemma like looked up all like her videos to see like what happened and everything, I thought it was because like when he stole the files, that's why it wasn't uploading. And I was like, oh, okay, like, and Blake was like, no, they're not going anywhere with that. And I was like, okay, so what was the point?
Yeah, no point.
Then Megan, I guess, basically just hacks into a car to steal it, and she drives home to Gemma, and this is where they have their big showdown.
I will say, whoever styles Megan does such a great job, because she looks fantastic in this movie. She has great clothes options. Continue.
She's really girl bossing.
She is girl bossing
up until this final
literal
showdown.
Girl boss.
They're fighting, and they're trying to keep quiet so they don't alert Katie as to what's going on. But I think it was really interesting here when Megan is telling Gemma, she starts with like, "You're exhausting," but she's that's a different scene. I think it's interesting. She's telling Gemma here, you and I used to stay up till 4 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
So she's clearly been working on Megan for like a long time. Like, obviously, a lot of time and effort has been put into Megan, but Megan, has all these complicated feelings. And so she's apparently actually feeling like rejected and cast aside
Oh
by
my God.
Gemma.
You know what? You actually just reminded me of something.
Because she says, I thought we were friends.
Yeah, but before when she was talking to Brandon, the little dickhead, she was like, he was like, "What are you?" And she said, "I've been asking myself for like it since I've been created." So like she's been like deeply questioning herself and been having this she's been having this what's the word?
Identity crisis?
Existential crisis since her existence. And that what you're touching on now just adds on to that, how she was just like she thought she was connected with Gemma. She thought Gemma was her like, you know, someone that she could trust.
Yeah, like she literally gave her the software and she wanted her to figure it out herself. Like she's like, you just expected me to figure it all out.
Right, exactly. Yeah, she like, you gave me something that not even you understood, hoping I would figure it out.
Classic case on why you don't do that.
But during this showdown, we finally get Bruce back. Bruce is the robot that was introduced earlier on in the movie, which is basically like that machine from Aliens. And Katie basically goes full Ripley, like, "Get away from her, you bitch!" Rips Megan apart, just rips her straight in half.
Like Megatron and Jazz in the first Transformers.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You're like trudging up memories I haven't thought of in like 10 years.
I'll shake too!
Jazz gets freaking destroyed. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then, of course...
Shout out to my Uncle John. That was his favorite one.
Shout out to Uncle John.
Shout out to Uncle John. I love you.
But then the supposedly dead Megan comes back for one last scare.
Oh.
And it's another callback because earlier in the movie, Gemma is showing Katie how Bruce works, and she shows him underneath his like face or whatever, basically where his brain is. And when Gemma rips off Megan's face, she's exposing that under there she's got the same brain, the same little square brain that Bruce had. And so Katie's a smart kid. She sees that, she knows what it is, and so she kills Megan again
with like a screwdriver.
Killed her both times.
Yeah, you know, I really appreciate that. Like it was, like you said, like it was Katie doing it, and they let Katie be a smart character. They let Katie learn and understand that this was healthy for her. Mm-hmm. It wraps up quickly too. They're like, "All right, this Megan's dead, but like Elsie's kind of sketchy."
Yeah,
and we're done.
It wrapped up very quickly. I think it's like setting up a franchise very obviously, especially because when you see how Megan has infected Elsie the whole time, it basically just shows that Megan, the AI, is a force to be reckoned with, and I really think they're setting up a new like franchise villain. And
Did I not say that?
I really love we're living in an era that now we're finally getting our new horror villains. We're getting an Art. We're getting a Megan. I hope it keeps up. I hope we get more.
It's exciting to like live through the birth of these guys.
Feel like they could last for a while. Obviously they have like their like parent characters that they were inspired from, like Chucky, for example. But like Megan is still her own thing. She's still completely her own thing, and she stands on her own. Like you said, I hope this is a franchise. I hope to see more of it. I really highly suggest.
I need more of her.
She's gonna do another dance for sure.
I need another one. She's gonna come back and do another one. Top it. I need a dance to top that one.
Yeah, I mean, like, for sure. I mean, my closing statement says this is something to go out to watch with a night with friends. This is something to enjoy. It's a fun horror movie.
It's really fun.
It's so much fun. It really is. Like, grab everyone you know. Grab it. Because, you know, it's pretty, like, accessible, too. It's not too much. It toes a line that's fun for younger kids. In a way, it kind of feels like they're seeing something they shouldn't, but it's still a PG-13 movie, so they'll still have fun with it. It's a great introduction to horror. I think it's a good one that's pretty easy to watch with anyone.
I feel like it's just gonna end up being on like my top 3 favorites of like horror movie, no matter how many of them like I see in like come out, I'm like, it's probably gonna be like on the top because I just had so much fun with it that I was like, okay, everything else will probably just be like, yeah, this was good, but I just like the entire time I was like, this is great, like this is so fun, like I love fun horror movies like that.
Do you think this being a PG-13 sort of accessible to like kids and teenagers movie means that they had to be smarter about scares because they couldn't rely on gore?
At first, I would say yes, but I think they were just smart about their edits because an R-rated version of this exists. 100% seeing it a second time, but I do think they were smart about the way they edited it and the way they still made it effective. Like the kid next to us was in shock. Bless her heart. I loved that. I loved her. I hope she's okay. But no, I think the way they handled it was really smart, and it didn't feel like it took away from the movie.
I agree. I don't think it was in abundance. That's why. Like, it didn't have a high body count. So when she did get her hands dirty, it mattered. And we're not used to seeing Megan kill somebody. So the fact that it's insinuated that she killed the dog, it's like, oh, okay, that was rough. She kills the kid, and it's like, that was even more rough. And then kills the neighbor. And I think they did a good enough job with that for most of it being off screen. And even I was watching that like, damn, I don't know if she deserved all that. And then the one that we all love with the paper cutter just stabbing the guy. And you do see the tip go out of dude's chest a little. I'm like, that's pushing it for PG-13. That's Coulson's death in the Avengers.
Oh, ouch!
Yeah. I liked everything that they did when it came to the scares and the overall violence and horror of it, because I think the horror comes from her kills. The rest of it's just that creep factor you get for the entire movie.
No, definitely.
How do you feel about it, Sabrina?
I think it was fun the way it was. I mean, like, obviously, I'd like to see if there's like another version, but I think that I feel like a lot of, whether it's for like kid on audiences or not, but like a lot of movies like to rely on like jump scares, and it's like, yeah, those are good, but like, I don't know, you don't always I feel like you don't always have to do that. Like this didn't have to rely on that. Like, it was violent, but even Blake said it was like that creepy factor. It's like, okay, she was very unsettling. That's where it felt like a horror, because she was like, it was a typical like doll come to life story. It was very unsettling. So I think that alone was already like good, but I don't know. I liked it though.
It didn't have me begging for an R-rated cut. Like, that movie would have been better if it was rated R. I think they nailed it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I think they did.
No, for sure. I think they really nailed it. I think this is a great entry, and I'm really happy that it was good, because it was good. Not it was so bad. It was good.
I mean, this is a January Blumhouse horror movie.
It's a January PG-13 Blumhouse horror
Everything
movie.
was against it.
With a TikTok dance in the trailer. This should not have been genuinely good.
It shouldn't have been watchable. It really should have been dumped on Sci-Fi, but
I think the funniest part about
sorry,
this, like,
Sci-Fi shit.
is like the marketing, because like I think I sent like Blake a tweet where it's like, they're trying to like add to like who Megan is and everything, and I was just like, someone was like, no, she dances in the trailer, and that's what sold us. Like, it's not deeper than that.
Yeah,
it's smart. It has not a bunch of layers, but it has more layers than you expect.
Yeah, it had its bare necessity when it came to the social commentary, and they didn't try to force it. Like, they didn't really go overboard on like, spend time with your kids. Like, I got it.
Yeah, exactly.
I got it.
I got it.
Any closing words?
I'm excited for the crossover with Chucky that they'll do someday.
Oh, dude, I would eat that up.
They still got their Twitter beef.
I love that. I need to see them fight.
We haven't had a good horror crossover in a while. We've had Alien versus Predator. We've had Jason versus Freddy. We need Megan versus Chucky.
Oh my God,
I think that is the perfect thing to end us on.
Team Megan.
Ooh.
Oh, against Chucky. Chucky's my boy. I gotta stay loyal to him.
I'm staying loyal to Megan because she would stay loyal to me.
Oh,
that's a good point.
Megan will protect me
and sing you to sleep.
I just want more Megan. Just give me a whole franchise.
But yeah, that's our thoughts on Megan. I'm pleasantly surprised. I feel like we're all pleasantly surprised.
We all had fun with it.
For watching our review. We have so much left in store. Possibly a new episode of Road to Rise. Maybe another review is next. Follow us on Twitter to find out, and we will be right back. Thanks, guys.
I'll be right back.